Whether it's during a global pandemic or just life in general, tough times are bound to happen. Things like losing a job, the passing of a loved one, or even just giving up on a lifelong goal. Yeah, we've all experienced our fair share of struggles and setbacks. But the good news is, because we know these tough times are bound to happen, we can proactively plan for how to find motivation during those times. And that's what we're going to chat about here today. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Lifehack Show. I'm your host, Justin Aldridge, and today we're going to chat about how to find motivation during those tough times that just won't seem to end. But before we dive into that, I just want to remind you, if you're enjoying our content, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And also, if you're someone who's serious about increasing your motivation, I want to tell you about a great tool that we've created for you here at Lifehack. It is our Instant Motivation Boost Worksheet. This is something that is going to allow you to kickstart your motivation so that you can go out there and start achieving those big goals that you have for yourself. So click the link above or down in the description below and go and download that worksheet. Now, let's talk about some motivation. Okay, so a fun fact about me is that I've been known to do some motivational speaking. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for it. And I'm also a sucker for a great motivational video or movie. But because I've been on both sides of it as far as doing some of the speaking and watching a lot of motivational content, I understand that motivation is fleeting even during the good times in life. Now, just imagine whenever life gets tough and we're in one of those seasons where it feels like we just can't break out of it and it's just bad thing or tough thing after another, it gets really hard to stay motivated during those times. That's why it's so important that we have proactive actions that we can take in order to maintain that motivation. So that's why I want to give you 5 strategies that you can use in order to really go out and to find that motivation during those tough times. Number 1, the first strategy for finding motivation during tough times is to review your goals daily. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Justin, well, what does motivation have to do with reviewing my goals? Well, see, the reality is that when we're really going after goals, and I mean big stretch goals, not little rinky-dink goals, the big ones, the big audacious ones that you got to really put forth effort and energy towards. Whenever we're going after those, it can take a lot of time. And there can be some setbacks along the way. It's not very often that we actually start going after those goals and we achieve them on the first try or everything just goes smoothly. No, there's going to be some setbacks. There's going to be some struggles along the way. That's why constantly reviewing your goals and reminding yourself of why you're going after the thing that you're going after is so incredibly important. Because as things start to get tough, our motivation naturally dips. But if we can stay in this pattern of constantly reviewing our goals, we're going to be able to stay emotionally connected to why it is that we wanted to achieve it in the first place. Because we all know at the end of the day, it's the emotion behind the goal that drives us to follow through and to achieve it. So that's why reviewing your goal is so important, because it allows you to stay intimately connected to that emotion. And when you can tap into that emotion, the motivation will naturally follow. So go through, review your goals daily whenever things start to really get tough and you're bumping up against some opposition, and you'll find that you'll naturally become more motivated. The second strategy is to reflect on past achievements. Now, I gotta admit, I'm not one for looking into the past a whole lot, because I think that we need to really focus on being present and we need to be forecasting toward the future, because we can't change the past. But when it comes to finding motivation, being able to look in the rearview mirror to reflect on our past wins and achievements can do a lot for helping us to find motivation as we move forward. Like I said, the further that we get away from a previous win, the easier it is for our motivation to start to dip when we start to feel like we haven't really done much lately. That's why being able to look back to see those wins that we've had and to see that we've had a collection of wins over time, it will allow us to be reminded of the fact that we are high achievers, that we can do the things that we set out to do. And by doing that, it's going to immediately create that reminder inside of us, which is going to really kickstart that motivation again for us to go out there and continue to take action and go out and achieve that big goal that we're currently pursuing. The third strategy for finding motivation during tough times is to take time to refresh. As high achievers, let's be honest, we have this on to the next one, constantly striving mentality. And that's a great thing, but one of the costs to that is the fact that a lot of times we just get run down. And if we're not taking the time to refresh, our motivation is going to dip with our energy. So we've got to make sure that we're constantly checking in, that not only are we checking our motivation levels, but that we're checking our energy levels. And we've got to make sure that we're giving ourselves the space to be able to step back, to take that time to refresh so that we can be in a clear space mentally, emotionally, physically, to be able to go out there to continue to take action. If you can do that, if you can build in a regular rhythm of refreshing, you're going to find that your motivation is naturally a lot higher and you're not going to have as many peaks and valleys as a lot of people are. So look at your schedule. Do you take time to refresh? Or do you wait until you've crashed and burned? If you really want to maximize your motivation to be able to go out and achieve your biggest goals, make that a priority. Build it into the schedule so that you stay fresh. When you do that, you won't have those nosedives of motivation. And to kind of piggyback off of that third point, the fourth way to find motivation during tough times is to keep up with your exercise. You can go and find endless amounts of research that talks about the link between our physical health and our mental and emotional well-being. Well, when it comes to motivation, we're talking about the mental and the emotional part. But if we're not taking care of ourselves physically, then we know that the mental and the emotional is going to suffer. So you've got to make sure that you're prioritizing your physical health. Again, just like making sure that you're making it a priority to take time to refresh, you've got to make sure that you're making your physical health and your exercise a priority in your life. When you do that, you're naturally going to have more physical energy. Well, with more physical energy comes more motivation. When we start to get physically tired and exhausted, our motivation goes down. So we've got to make sure that we're making our physical energy and the production of it through exercise a priority. So again, open up your schedule, look at it. Do you have your exercise time, your physical development written into and scheduled for your week, your month, whatever it looks like for you? Do that and you're naturally going to increase your motivation. And then lastly, my favorite strategy that I think has the greatest impact on motivation is surrounding yourself with positive people. We all know what it's like to have negative people around us. Those people that just suck the energy right out of you. Well, when you're talking about your motivation, when you've got those energy suckers, as I like to call them, that are around you constantly, well, inevitably your motivation is going to go down. So if you want to maintain high levels of motivation, surround yourself with people who are driven, who are ambitious, who are motivated themselves, and who are in a regular habit of motivating and inspiring other people. People who are going to hold you accountable. People who are going to pick you up whenever times start to get tough. If you can figure out how to change your social circle and to bring in more of those positive, uplifting people, your motivation is going to be so much higher. And then during those tough times, you're going to have people that you can call on that will go out of their way to help you really get through the times that are holding you back. So again, evaluate your life. Look at the people who are closest to you. Figure out, can you make any changes to your social circle? Can you start to bring in more people? Are there people that right now that you can distance yourself from? If you can do that, you can find more positive people in your life. That's going to have such a positive impact on your motivation so that you continue to push and persevere during those tough times. That's it. Those 5 simple strategies, if you can just take those and implement them, you will find not only during tough times, but just during life in general, that you are so much more motivated. All right, motivation is great, but we also know that it's fleeting. So we've got to make sure that we're being proactive, that we can go out and find that motivation when we need it. And if you could take and do these 5 things, I promise you, you're going to be able to find all the motivation that you need. Do me a favor, in the comments below, let me know which one of these strategies most resonates with you. And also, don't forget to go and download that Instant Motivation Boost worksheet. If you really are serious about finding and maintaining motivation during the good and the bad times, that worksheet is going to be a great tool and resource for you. With that being said, that concludes this week's video. Hop on over to lifehack.org for more great tips, tools, and resources just like this, or stay tuned for the next episode.